Hello, everyone. It's Dr. Manjiri Nadkarni, Ayurvedic MD, registered holistic nutritionist, back today for day 88. Um, it's day 88 of 100 days of Ayurveda. Super excited, super amazed. I just have 12 more days left. Sounds kind of unbelievable. I'm just gonna hang on here for a little bit till I see people hop on because Uttamji is here, perfect. So I'm just gonna wait a little bit and see if more people hop on. So I cannot believe it's actually been 88 days since the 100 days. I started with the 100 days of Ayurveda. We only have 12 days left to go. I have no idea what I'm gonna do after these 12 days. And once we do the 100 days of Ayurveda, because I'm so used to just showing up online, at least 2, 3 times a week and talking about something. So I'm kind of addicted to my own lives. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Hello, Ushaji. Hi, Darshana. Nice to see you. Thank you for watching this live. So today we're talking about the Pitta Dosh Balancing Diet, right? And this is extremely important because post summer, like if you're out and about in the sun, or if you are really taking time to soak in the sun, right? You could also have a lot of accumulation of this pitta dosha, right? So technically in Ayurveda, we talk about Sharad Rutu where pitta is, aggravated. What happens in the northern hemisphere is also that because of the high intensity of the sun, and for people who are constantly out and about in the sun, you start getting this accumulation of heat, and that can also create a lot of pitta aggravation too. So that can also happen, especially if you are constantly out, and you cannot deal with it, or you're having lots of alcohol in the summer season in the way of socializing, or you're eating a lot of spicy foods as well. So pitta gets aggravated because of anything that's sharp, anything that's greasy could be one cause, but anything that's warming or heating in nature, right? And that is why we want to talk about the pitta balancing diet as well. So what are some signs if you are angry and irritable all the time, if you are battling with any excess heat, or you're getting a lot of hot flashes, if you are suffering from any kind of breakouts, acne, rashes, which are really like any burning sensation in the body, then your pitta dosh could be out of balance. Now, pitta is the fiery part of you, right? And in your body, so it's the bioenergy in your body that is made up of fire as well as a little bit of water, and that can create, that caters to the fire principle as well. And if it's out of balance, it's going to throw your body out of balance, right? So that's few things to do. So pitta imbalance can lead to irritability, it can lead to anger, lashing out on people, low energy, you could be fatigued, right? You could be excessively thirsty, or you could have a really increased appetite. You're hungry all the time, because your digestive fire is enhanced and nothing that you eat satisfies you, right? And you are feeling hot all the time. So you just feel this excess heat in the body. There could be burning sensations. There could be a lot of inflammation. You could have loose motions, acid reflux, insomnia can also be a result, right? And you just feel overwhelmed and frustrated as well. So these are some signs that your pitta dosha is out of balance, and that's what you need to counteract, and that's what we're going to talk today about. So Uttamji is saying write the book. What else? Yeah. So after the 16th, I'm gonna plan and sit down and write the book. For sure, that's on my goals right now because of the timing. Pitru Paksha, I can't really do anything till the 16th, so I'm just gonna take it easy. But I have scheduled some time where I can just sit down and write. So that is definitely on my list of things to do. So what are things you need to do to avoid this pitta dosh getting out of balance, right? The first thing you need to really avoid is alcohol, right? Alcoholic beverages are going to directly increase your pitta, right, and aggravate your pitta. So avoiding alcohol, and this is the one trend that I've seen in corona, some people coped really well and they took this time of 3 months to really change their diet and lifestyle, and other people who couldn't cope well took to drinking a lot more alcohol, right, to cope with the current situation. But that can also create a lot of pitta aggravation in your body. So you have to be mindful. So if you're finding a lot of burning sensations, even heaviness under your right rib cage, your blood sugar is off balance as well, it could also be attributed to this excess alcohol intake, right? And alcohol can also create a lot of overload on your liver. Now, please understand your liver is the main site of pitta in the body as well. It is a pitta sthana, right? So you have to protect it as well. So this is extremely important, and make sure you follow a pitta balancing diet by joining us today and listening to what I have to say today, but cut the alcohol completely out, right? So at least from now till maybe Thanksgiving, just maybe cut it out completely, right? And if Thanksgiving you need to have a glass of wine, that's fine. But just try to avoid it if you have any kind of pitta aggravation. The same with coffee as well, right? So coffee is also a stimulant. If your vata is out of balance, it also is easier for your pitta to get out of balance too. So avoiding even coffee helps, because coffee can also create a lot of acidity in your being, right? Excessively spicy foods or sharp foods, or too much of any spice as well, like chili peppers, if you're having too many of those, or cloves or cinnamon, that can also create this pitta aggravation in your body. So make sure you're also avoiding excess intake of spice. Spices are amazing, they help you digest your food, they are really, really healthy for you, but anything in excess is going to be harmful to you. So that is the one thing to remember. The other thing I wanted to talk about was fermented foods. So, fermented foods are extremely popular in today's world, right? And I had pickled eggs for the first time today. So, I didn't know what pickled eggs were, but probably you take eggs and boiled eggs and you put them in like this pickling mix, and they taste really good. Uh, so like everything is pickled and fermented nowadays. So if you don't have excess pitta in the body, right, or if your digestive enzymes, which are also a representative of pitta, are not functioning well, right, so at that time you can definitely have more fermented foods. But if you are seeing signs of pitta aggravation, try to avoid excess pickles or even papadums, excess salty foods, sour foods, and pungent foods, right? We've talked about tastes before. So the three tastes that can aggravate your pitta are salty, sour, and pungent, because they all have this fire component with them, or in them, right? So that's why avoiding these tastes are going to help cut down excess buildup of pitta in your body, right? So, Uttamji, gallbladder is a pitta storage organ for sure. But when we talk about this bile, it's only one part of it. We talk about pitta dosh, it's present all over your body. It's a different concept. So when we talk about, there's certain amount of pitta situated in your brain as well, in your heart as well, right? In the blood, so there are different kinds of pittas. There are five main kinds of pittas. So definitely gallbladder stores pitta, but liver is also one of the main sthanas of pitta, right? And it's the liver that actually makes the bile. The gallbladder just stores it. So that's the difference between the two, right? But even your eyes have what we call alochak pitta, right? Sadhak pitta has more to do with courage. So we have different kinds of pittas as well, which need to be balanced throughout your body. Your skin also has this bhajak pitta, right? So there are different categories of pitta as well. When I talk about pitta dosh, I talk about the general. I don't go into the specific separate ones of the five. So these are some things that you have to avoid. Excessively hot temperature wise as well, right? So excessively hot foods temperature wise and spice wise are to be avoided for balancing your pitta dosh. So this is extremely important to know. And if you are having a hard time in summer, right, because of the excess heat, and you're having a lot of fermented drinks, if you're having sourdough breads, which also are going to be pitta aggravating because of their sour taste, you are going to do yourself a disservice. So that's something you have to be mindful about. Now, what are certain foods to incorporate, so you can cool off, right? Soothe and balance pitta. So a few of my favorite foods are, one of them is coconut, right? So coconut is the one nut. Technically, it's not like a nut, but coconut is the one nut that is soothing and cooling to the body. Coconut water serves amazingly to cool and soothe your body, right? So if you're having issues with excess fire element buildup, if you have this excess heat, or you're just uncomfortable with a lot of inflammation, coconut water is a good option to have. Also, coconut as a food, like the flesh of the coconut, you can start blending it, making chutneys or dips out of it. You can have coconut milk instead of cashew milk, right? So the other nuts, when we talk about cashews or almonds, they are warming to the body, but coconut is going to be cooling to the body, right? So these are some things you can start having. So coconut is something that's pretty fantastic to have in your diet. Cilantro, parsley, coriander seeds are really good to have in your diet if you have this excess heat within you, right? So these are also some foods which are really going to, help balance your pitta, and they're going to bring a lot of relief to the excess burning sensations that you may have. Or celery is again one of my favorite foods. So celery is also really good, and celery can help, balance your pitta. Celery also has lots of minerals in it. It has potassium, it has other minerals. So if you are dehydrated because you're out and about in the summer season, it's really going to help you, right? So other things to have is also pomegranate. Pomegranate is again a really good fruit to have, right? And rather than choosing sour fruits, you can choose a little bit more astringent or sweet fruits. So fruits like bananas are going to help balance your pitta, not aggravate it. Even apples, which are slightly astringent, melons like watermelon are going to balance as well. Cantaloupes are going to balance, right? Vegetables like broccoli or cabbage, anything also bitter tasting, right? When we talk about kale or when we talk about bitter melon, right? So that's also, bitter melon is slightly warming to the body, but any bitter taste for that matter is going to help balance this excess pitta in your body, right? And one of the best foods that helps aid digestion, one of the best fats that helps aid digestion is ghee or clarified butter. And ghee is something that's going to support your digestion. At the same time, it's going to balance this pitta, right? One fruit that is pretty popular in Ayurveda is called amla berry. So amla or amalki or Indian gooseberry is really, really good for balancing your pitta as well. It's also an antioxidant. It's also a rejuvenative. So you can definitely use this to balance your pitta or any, excess pitta inflammation that you have. Grapes, raisins are some really good fruits to have as well if you want to balance your pitta, anything that's ripe, like most ripe fruits, mangoes and plums, right? When they're ripe, can really balance your pitta. Vegetable wise, there are lots of vegetables. So asparagus is really good, which is also grown in season. Kale, green beans, celery, potatoes, cabbage, okra is one of my favorites. Okra or bhindi. It's a slightly slimy vegetable, and this helps soothe your stomach, and it also helps support your mucous membranes in the body, and that is how it's going to help with any excess inflammations that you have in the body, and it's going to help coat, anything, even if you have ulcers or if you have um, any issues in the body where there's a lot of rawness. This is really going to help. So spinach, um, you can also have that. Beets are really good as well. Now, garlic, tomatoes are going to increase your pitta. So that is the one thing to remember. So any excess of onions or garlic, even eggplants can sometimes, increase. Chili peppers are something that are going to, increase your pitta. So these are some foods to be really mindful about, right? And dietary principles to follow on a pitta balancing diet are, having lots of like good amounts of ghee in your diet. Even milk by nature balances pitta. right? If milk is inflamed because of the way it's processed, it can actually create some issues with pitta or create more acidity. But for most part, milk is extremely like nourishing and cooling, and it is going to also help balance pitta, right? So a few things to do for balancing pitta lifestyle wise are to avoid being out in the heat excessively. And if you are out and about in heat, make sure your head is covered, right? So if you cover your head, it really helps you. And making sure you're not like in harsh rays of the sun, because that's also going to aggravate your pitta. Sleeping at the right time. If you keep up at night, if you're staying up, you know it's going to increase your vata and also your pitta dosh, right? So make sure that you're sleeping at a decent time and you're getting good amounts of rest, right? That is extremely important for pitta. Now, anger is an attribute that is very common to a pitta person. Pitta people who have pitta as a part of their prakriti or pitta dominant are short tempered and they can get angry easily. But at the same time, if you're getting a lot angrier, that's going to provoke your pitta even further. So that is something to really understand, and that is something to implement. So try to cool off. Certain even exercises can increase your pitta, right? So if you are exercising in heat, though you could be lifting weights or though you could be doing different activities, if you're doing them in the sun, in the harsh sun, you might increase excess pitta in your body. So that's something to be noted. Swimming is a really good exercise for excess pitta. So having a dip in the pool, or in the lake or the ocean, wherever you live, is going to help with this excess pitta. Being out in the nature, in the presence of trees and really grounding, also helps pitta in addition to the vata, right? So that's also going to really help. Not using excessively hot water when taking a shower is also important. So if you have excess pitta aggravation, if you're using hot water, hot showers, or going for a sauna, these are things that are going to aggravate your pitta. So making sure you're by the cool breeze, or you're sitting in the shade, or you're taking a dip in the pool, or swimming when not exposed to excess heat, is really going to help balance your pitta. Hi, Swati. Nice to see you. Thanks for showing up live. And if you have any questions, please feel free to, put it in the comment section so I can answer those questions as well. So these are a few things. And one of my favorite foods that helps balance pitta is oatmeal. So oatmeal can help balance pitta. A rice is really good. White rice, is really good. Basmati rice can help balance your pitta. And also mung beans or mung beans, are really good to balance your pitta. When we have issues with excess acidity or excess pitta in the body, if you are having what's known as tuar dal in India, or what's it called? Not split pea, gram dal. I don't even know what's tuar dal called. Maybe I'll have to figure that out. Yeah, but tuar dal is slightly increasing, like it'll increase your acidity, and so that can aggravate your pitta. But if you have something like a mung dal or mung beans, that's going to balance your pitta. Yogurt, if it's excessively sour, right? Any sour yogurt is going to increase your pitta. If it's slightly sweet, it's fine, but I would avoid it, right? So yogurt, if you have it with something like amla berry, yeah, red gram dal, that's good. Red gram, yeah, probably gram dal or red gram dal, yeah, that's the word dal. But yogurt, if it's excessively sour, even buttermilk, if it's sour, right? Anything that's extremely sour is going to increase your pitta dosh. So that is something you have to keep in mind, and you have to constantly balance it out, right? Lentils, mung beans would be the best. Red lentil can also slightly aggravate the pitta. So that's the other thing. And leafy greens for most part, except for methi. So fenugreek is something that is going to aggravate your pitta. It's a warming food. So if you are adding a lot of spicy, not spicy, fenugreek seeds, to your diet, Make sure that you can definitely have it, but make sure you're also getting your food balanced, and not adding this excess heat via your diet, right? So make sure you're not adding a lot of fenugreek to your diet, especially in the summer season. Spinach or kale or other leafy greens are definitely fine, right? So a lot of the times, to be able to help with pitta, the other thing to do is coconut oil. So you can massage your feet with coconut oil before bedtime. For vatas, sesame oil is really good. For pittas, um, coconut oil is one of the best things, and also ghee. So you can take a little bit of this coconut oil or ghee and apply it on the soles of your feet. And you can also apply a little bit of this coconut oil right at the crown. So if you have some tendency of your head getting really heated up, that is also going to increase your pitta. So if your head, you can secure it with some oil, that's going to balance it out. Swati, kefir, yogurt, anything that has fermentation, if it is sour, if it is fermented, technically fermented foods are going to increase your pitta, right? And yogurt is what everybody asks me about, because if you look at the marketing, it's supposed to be one of the healthiest things for probiotics and all that. But in Ayurveda, we talk about buttermilk or takra. So you can take yogurt, you can add maybe half of the same quantity, or the same quantity of water to it. And in the olden days, we would take a churner and nicely churn it and remove all the butter from top. And whatever remains is buttermilk. That will slightly increase your pitta, but it's also appetizing and digestive. And it's not going to block up your sinuses, which is also something very common that I see with yogurt. Uttamji is saying to her is pigeon peas. Yeah, thank you. I almost forgot the name. So it's pigeon peas, right? You can apply socks post your oil application on the feet. I always wear socks to bed, not because I get extremely cold, but because I don't want to soil my bed sheets with all the oil, right? And I try to massage my feet every night before bedtime, and I just tend to sleep better when I do this. So it's very simple. You don't need anything fancy. You can have like a brass tool, if you have it. Otherwise, you can simply just use some kind of, ghee or oil, coconut oil preferably, and just massage your feet. Certain herbs, help with balancing the pitta. Now, the one thing to note with pitta imbalance is if you're aging fast, right? Because we also talk about pitta and aging. So pitta has a lot to do with your metabolism transformation, right? So if you are also aging fast, if you're getting a lot of crow's feet, or if you're getting like a lot of frown lines, or if you're getting gray hair, especially like my hair is turning gray. I know I've always had it since like maybe in my 20s, that's a sign of pitta. So early graying is a sign of pitta dosh, right? So that's something to remember. And the best way to not age fast is to reduce your salt intake. The more salt you have, the faster you will age, right? So reducing your salt intake, reducing a lot of the pickles and all that are really rich in salt is going to prevent this aging. And then amla berries, if you can get it in the market, in the summer season is usually when you get amla berries. So you can literally steam those. There are different remedies, in India, if you've tried what's known as gulkan, so it is like a rose petals you're going to mix with sugar, and you're going to put it in the heat or right out in the sun. And that's when the rose petals are absorbing all this, sugar. So gulkan also helps balance this excess heat, right? Or amla, we call it murabba or murawala in Marathi. So you're taking these steamed, amla berries, and you put it with some sugar syrup, that's also going to balance your pitta. Now, cane sugar, technically, it's balancing to the pitta, it's very cooling to the body, but we talk about this rock sugar or khadi sakhar is what it's called, right? Refined sugar, the more you process it, the more it's going to stimulate you. right? So try to avoid cane sugar. You can have those rock candy is what it's called, or rock sugar. So it's called khadi sakar. So the crystals are slightly bigger than the white powdery sugar that you can get, and that's also cooling. Honey is something that's warming in nature, right? But um, the sugar is going to be slightly cooling if you have excess heat. Then you can have it a little bit. Jaggery again is a bit warming in nature. So these are kind of the subtle differences between different foods. um, Potatoes, sweet potatoes and all are really good. Any fiber is also good because then you can flush excess heat out of your body. One of my amla is sour, but the potency is cooling, right? And amla has 5 different tastes, right? So it's also astringent. It is sour, but it is also cooling to the body. It does not increase pitta as opposed to what most people believe. So amla berries are actually pitta balancing in nature. They're not going to increase this excess heat in your body, right? They're also cooling in nature. Yeah. Um, what else to avoid? Mm. Yeah, so pickles and papadums, papadums are like a big thing. In today's world, when I see people eating nut butters, right, by the spoonful. So when I see people eating like lots of nuts, nuts are also warming, and nuts are also going to throw your pitta out of balance, right? So please make sure that you are going to, avoid excess of nut butters, especially like almonds or cashews can be excess heating, right? So amla can be used with different what we call anupan, right? So sometimes you can take amla with hot water. If you have excess issues with your joints or excess gas, you can also take it with sesame oil or tilka tel. Amla, if you want to take for pitta balance or skin issues, you can also take it with ghee. You can mix 1 teaspoon of this amla powder. You can mix it with some clarified butter and then drink it with a bit of hot water, right? Ghee and amla are both pitta balancing. So this combination can help balance excess heat pretty instantly. When you look at conditions like kapha, right? So things associated with excess kapha, you can use amla berry along with honey, right? So I'm kind of diverting from the topic and going more towards amla berry, but definitely amla berry is one of the best, foods when we talk about improving your skin quality or your eyesight, or also for excessively gray hair, right? So if you're having any trouble with early graying of hair, you can definitely also mix amla berry with what's known as bhringaraj powder, and you can also put like a pack to your hair, or you can use it internally. Anytime you use it internally, please work with an ayurvedic doctor or a practitioner. So we want to make sure that you're not having something that's not working for you, right? So these are a few things for pitta balance. Meditations, cooling your mind, even cooling your body. Sandalwood, right? Applying sandalwood packs on your face is also going to really help. Sandalwood packs on your forehead is also going to really help balance excess pitta and balance excess heat, right? So this is all I had to talk today about pitta balancing diet. I will be back tomorrow for a little bit more information on the kapha balancing diet. So tomorrow we're going to talk about the kapha diet. And then I'm just going to quickly check because I have spoken to Nandi. So this Saturday is expert, right? So it's going to be a really amazing topic. And this is a really fun topic. We're going to talk about the lunar calendar, right? So right now we are looking mainly at the solar calendar. It's the 9th of September, but in the lunar calendar, I don't even know what date it is today. I will have to check. I know it's the Pitru Paksha going on in the lunar calendar or the Vedic calendar, and it's the Ashtami today. So it's the 8th day in the lunar calendar post the full moon. So this Saturday, I have Nandi Shivam, who was back with us, who described the days of the week and the importance of all the days. So we have him back this Saturday for an interview at 11 o'clock. This Saturday, we're going to talk about the lunar calendar and its impact on your mind. It's going to be an amazing topic. We will be talking about the importance of why, follow this lunar calendar, why not just follow the solar calendar, like why try to understand what's going on in the Vedic calendar, or for those from Maharashtra, and Kal Nirnay is the one we look at, right? Not just in Maharashtra, but different places, your Panchang and all, which talks about like the Indian days. And we have to understand our connection with the lunar calendar as well, and how to find the most important days for us, right? According to this lunar calendar. So this is quite an interesting topic. I would love you all to join me. That's on Saturday, the 11th. I still have to put it up on the events page, which I'll be doing today. Is it the Saptami or the Ashtami, Krishna Paksha? It shows me the Kalashtami. Yeah, it shows me. Mugdha, the dates are slightly different. You have to calculate it according to Canada. I can help you with the link. There's a website called Druk Panchang. For those who are not familiar with it, you can put your location. If you look at any of the Indian calendars, the time is calculated as per in India. So the dates are slightly different here. So even Ganesh festival, we had it a day earlier. Most days, even Diwali, it's a website called Druk Panchang. I'm just going to click the website and share it right here. But I refer to this website. I used to get calendars from India. I still have my Kal Nirnay, but I don't really use it anymore, right? Because the dates are different. If you're calculating what we call the Tithi, right, we are going to do that. Yes, Uttamji, I saw your message. I'm going to revert back to you in like the next 5-10 minutes. Yes, I will be talking at the Mandir virtual session for this Sunday at maybe like 11:20ish. I think that's the time. So most definitely I will do that. I still have to give you the topic, so I will revert back to you for sure. Yeah, but this is the Druk Panchang, like going back to the lunar days, you have to calculate it on your geographic location, because that's how time is calculated according to the Vedic calendar. So take a look at it. I have shared the link here, but that's going to be another interesting topic. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk about kapha dosh, right? If you are feeling lethargic or lack of motivation or gaining excess weight, that's what we deal with tomorrow for kapha balancing diet. Thank you all for watching this live. Thank you all for showing up, every day. Really appreciate all your support. Have a fantastic night, and I will be back tomorrow with kapha balancing diet. Till then, have a good night. Bhaskar Panchang in Toronto. Probably I just refer to this online calendar. It's just easier for me to calculate. So yeah, but I'll take a look at that as well. So thank you once again.